Hello guys, Sorin here. Welcome back to our next video from our course on how to create amazing webinars for free. I've told you in the past video that we will talk more about this technique of creating your own free webinar page, okay? Using everything for free, obviously, because as we have talked already in the beginning, when you are starting something, you need to invest your money in the things that bring the most value to your business, okay? Now, I call this the 8 steps technique, okay, for creating free amazing webinars. And let's start with the first step. The first step is to create a Google account. As you have seen, we are using the Google Hangouts tool, okay, to practically create this free webinar page. So first of all, you need to create a Google account or log into your actual account if you have one. If you already have a Google account, you probably know already that you also have a YouTube account. You also have access to Google Drive and everything that Google actually has, all the apps that Google has at our disposal for using, okay? Then you need to create an account on a free website builder, and an example for that it's Wix.com, and I will show you exactly in a future video how to use that. Then you need to enter into your Google Hangouts account, okay? You just type in Google Hangouts on Google while already being logged into your account. The Google Hangouts will appear. You enter Google Hangouts and you schedule a Google Live Hangout. So not a normal Google Hangout. You need to schedule a Google Live Hangout, okay? Then you copy. You will see that you have some distribution links there, okay? Or share the Google Hangout, and you will have more options. Throughout these options, you will also have a YouTube link or an embedment code for your Hangout. Enter. After that, the step number 5 is to enter on your Wix website, okay, page that you have created. You insert the YouTube code video or embedment code for your Google Live Hangout there on your page, wherever you want the video to appear, okay, the actual webinar to appear on the page. You can add different plugins there, like a chat box or like Facebook comments to that page if you want to, and I will show you an example for that. Then you can create a free email marketing service account. Actually, if you want to have the whole package with registration forms, landing page, reminders for your webinar, you need to create a free email marketing service. You can use MailChimp, okay, in that purpose. And after you create this email marketing account at MailChimp, for example, you can create a registration form for your webinar, and you can set up an autoresponder sequence or emails to send to the people that register to participate at your webinar. Okay, and that's about it. This is the 8 steps technique. So I think it's pretty simple. Till now, I think you understand the concept, but you actually need to see it in practice, and that's what we will do in our next video, guys. Now, some recommendations before going on with the examples and before showing you exactly how to use this technique. Some recommendation: use this technique when you are just starting out to save money and bootstrap. So if you are already at a level where you can afford to spend like $80 per month, okay, to use GoToMeeting or ClickWebinar or anything like that, any service like that, spend the money on that, okay, because it's more professional. You can make it look very professional, okay. You can use this method also to have a very professional presence, but probably in order to do that you will need some some freelancers, some designers, okay, to create special pages for you to integrate Google Hangouts with different apps and other things like that that you don't know, okay, but a professional developer knows or a designer knows, and you will still need to spend money on that. So it's much easier for you to go to Click2Webinar or to go to GoToWebinar or Webinar Jam or other platforms if you have the money for that, okay. So obviously, even if you do it, okay, even if you make it look professional, you won't still have some of all the features that paid platform has, okay. Now, you can save up with this method. You can save up to over $1,000 per year if you make the calculations, okay. As you have seen from the prices comparison, I've shown you a comparison based on 100 attendees. Probably if you go from over 200 or 500, the prices will go up much more, and you will end up maybe paying even $2, $3, or even $4,000 per year. With this method, you actually end up paying nothing. Okay, you just take some of your time in the beginning to design everything, and then it works for itself. Okay, so these are my recommendations. Now guys, thank you very much for your attention, and in the next videos I will show you exactly how to set up this technique from the beginning to the end. Okay, thank you very much for your attention again. Bye bye for now. Sorin here. Hello guys, Sorin here. In this short video I wanted to show you an example of a one-page webinar that I have created for myself and I have used for myself. As you can see here in my browser, if you have a look at the address, it's my own domain, okay, here, and I've created a special one-page website like for this webinar. Okay, the interesting part about this is how I've created this page, because I didn't use Wix.com, which I've showed you how to use in a different video. But as you can see, this looks very good. Here you can see that the Google Hangout logo is here. Okay, this was practically live streamed from Google Hangout. The webinar was called The 3 Ways of Earning Passive Income from Online Courses. So this is how the page was structured. What is very nice is that I've included here a button for a promotion that I ran at the end of the webinar. Also, I've just added this Facebook comment tab here, so you guys can see how it would look like on a one-page webinar. And here in the right part of the screen, if you have a closer look, you can see that I have added also a different plugin to chat, okay, to chat with the people from the webinar, okay, with my audience. So this was like a plugin that I have added directly into the HTML source code of this page, okay, of webinar6.html. And this is a plugin that you can find on the web. It's for free. It's very easy. You just copy paste the code in your one-page webinar page and it will appear like this to you in the right part of the page. Okay, the name of the plugin is Chatwe, and it's actually very nice. Now, how was I able to create this very simple page that has this chat box, okay, this button for my offer and everything else? Well, actually I have used my GetResponse account. For those of you who don't know, GetResponse, it's an email marketing service. Okay, it has prices. You have a 30-day trial if you want to use it. In my opinion, it's much better for marketers than maybe MailChimp or other type of services, because you have landing page builders, you have very nice templates that you can use in different purposes, you have very nice registration forms and so on. So you have a lot of possibilities. Also in the price, for example, mine right now, it's $15 per month, okay, which actually, and it lets me have up to 1,000 subscribers, and I have access to all the features that it has to offer. Okay, what is nice is that in this price you have included the autoresponder function, which is necessary if you want to promote your webinar in a more professional manner. Okay, you need to create those reminders in an autoresponder sequence, so you don't have to send them each day to the same people again and again to create different newsletters. You create your email sequence once, your autoresponder, you put it in place, and every time someone will subscribe on the list that they want to participate to the webinar, they will get automatically those emails that you have created, those reminders, okay? If you have seen in MailChimp, in the free version, you don't have access at the autoresponder. You have to create every single day a new email to send to people that have subscribed or have registered for your webinar. So this is actually very nice that you have this possibility with GetResponse. Now, what I have used to create that page that you have seen earlier, let me just log into my account and I'll show you. Okay, now we are into my GetResponse dashboard. And if you will go here in the upper menu, you have a section with messages, okay, create newsletters, or you have a landing page builder. Practically, I've done something very simple. I went to the landing page builder, Okay, you can go either to the messages section or to the landing page builder. If I will press this button restore, I think it will show exactly my builder, my page for the webinar. Let's have a look. Okay, no, this was my registration form for that webinar. Okay, I've created this with GetResponse. You have different templates. It's actually very, very easy to use. Let me go back. Okay, so if you want to build a page directly here, how can you, after that, how can you practically export the page from here to your own domain? It's very, very simple. Okay, so for example, you go to the create newsletter section, you press the new email creator. Okay, you just type in a name, it doesn't matter, a subject. Okay, you press next step, and here you will see that you have different templates, okay, from which you can choose. Let's take the first one. Okay, this is just for the sake of the example. It's actually very, very simple. And as you can see here, all these blocks are editable. Okay, all these blocks that you see here. So you can edit practically all these blocks here. Okay, put a name, make it look however you want. Okay, like the title of the webinar or something like that. Okay, after that, maybe you want to delete this part, or maybe you want to replace it. It doesn't matter. Okay, you want to leave this button, maybe you want to add, for example, a PayPal button right here to an offer. Okay, you are selling something at the end of the webinar. You can type this off. And for example, in this part here, you may want to enter your practically your frame for the webinar. Okay, your Google Hangouts frame. What you can do right now is, let me just have a look at this. Okay, you can bring this text here, for example. Okay, and here, instead of this text, you will have your frame for the webinar. So you will have your window with the live webinar. So what you can do here? First of all, you go to the HTML editor. You see here in this part of the screen, you have the HTML editor. You press yes, continue, and your embedment code from Hangouts or from YouTube, you will go and copy paste it. I think I went to the wrong block. Just a second, guys. Okay, title of the webinar. Okay, download now. So you will go and copy, okay, practically your text, your embedment code somewhere here. Okay, practically you will use as let's say like a checkpoint, or so you can figure out where exactly to put the code. You just look here after this text. Okay, I don't know why it's not showing to us here, but in a normal case it should appear to you. And instead of that text, you copy here in the HTML version your frame of the webinar. What you do after that, it's very, very simple. You just copy paste this. You go to your domain name, okay, where you have your hosting. You create a page on your domain, maybe webinar.html. You edit that HTML, you press edit on it, and you paste this code that you have copied from here there. And after that, you will see exactly the page that you have created here with the webinar framed and everything on that page if you will enter on it. For example, as you have seen my domain, it's therealdeal.ro/webinar6.html. Okay, and that's how I've created this page on my domain here. Okay, I've pressed edit on this page. I've passed the code from GetResponse on my page. I saved it, and after that, when I enter on the domain, the page appears. Okay, what I have integrated more on this page that is different from GetResponse, I have practically copy pasted also the code of Chatwee, this plugin for chatting. Okay, but you can find this plugin if you want to install it on Google. So it's actually very, very simple. Now, another way to do this is to use the builder, okay, the landing page builder of GetResponse. So you go to GetResponse, you go to landing pages, create new, and you will have different type of landing pages here. Okay, guys, different types. So, for example, you select a sales page. Okay, something that looks very, very nice. Let me choose one, just as an example for you guys. I don't like these ones. Webinar pages. Okay, for example, we can use actually this template that you have seen me using as a registration form, okay, with slight modifications. But what you can do right now is, for example, you have this template, you delete this button here, and what you can do is put this video here. Okay, this is practically a YouTube video. Okay, make it as big as you want to. Okay, if you double click on it here, you put your embedment code for YouTube, and that's it, guys. After that is the same thing, but you don't have the menu here in the lower part. You have here the menu in the upper part, the HTML editor. Obviously, you will edit everything on this page. You add whatever you want. As you can see, you already have a button. You can edit this one with your special offer, give them details, and so on. Then you press on the HTML editor. You press yes, continue, and you have your code. You just copy the code, paste it on the page on your domain, and voila, you have your one-page webinar. So that's how I've created this page, guys. As you can see, it's very, very simple. So if you have access to a email marketing service like GetResponse, it will be much, much easier. What is very nice at GetResponse, as I've told you before, and I will show you this very, very quickly, is the fact that you can create also, and this will be useful for you when you are preparing your webinar or a list or something like that. It's the fact that you can create an autoresponder sequence. Okay, so maybe in GetResponse, your email lists or your registration forms for different campaigns are named as campaigns. As you can see, I have different types of campaigns here. For example, for my webinar, I've used free webinar teaching. Okay, you will create a new campaign, for example, and after you have created the new campaign, that's where your new subscribers for the webinar, for example, they will be subscribed in that certain campaign here. Okay, what you can do is go and create an autoresponder that will be time-based. On the first day after somebody subscribes, gets a response. You choose the message, create a new email here. Okay, you give it a name, autoresponder name, my webinar, for example. Okay, you create a new email, you give it a message, my webinar 1, the subject, webinar confirmation. I'm just giving you example, guys. You obviously will have your own you'll have your own messages and stuff like that. Maybe you want to start it from scratch. Okay, I won't go into many details with these guys because I just want to show you the principle, because this means that you have to take on GetResponse. Okay, you just type in your email, whatever you want to send to guys that have subscribed to your webinar. You have your first message, as you can see here, the create autoresponder on day 1. Okay, my webinar, save and publish. Don't send the message. Okay, and as you can see, you have two different types of autoresponders because we have selected the same campaign. But in order to manage your autoresponders, you click on this button here, and you go, for example, show autoresponder for your campaign. I want for this campaign, okay? And I deselect this one. And as you can see, I only have a confirmation email that it's sent out to everybody that subscribes to that list, okay? This is how it looks like. Okay, so if anyone subscribes to my list that I have created as a registration form for my webinar, they will automatically get this email from me. Okay, I don't send it, it's sent automatically to them. That's the power of autoresponder. Then in the second day, because this is day 0 when they subscribe, in the second day I can add a different message. Then in the second day, in the third, and so on till the date of the webinar. Okay, it depends on me how many I want to add. I can add even 33 if I want. Okay, automatic messages. This can be very useful, guys. That's why I've also wanted to show you guys this. Okay, now guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I hope that you had a better insight and overview of how to use this technique and all these builders, okay, drag and drop builders and email services to create your own one-page webinar, and also to create okay, a proper let's say a proper setup for your webinar, how to create your reminders, okay, your autoresponders, your email list, and so on for your webinar. Now guys, thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to see you in our next videos. Bye bye till then, good luck, Sorin here. Hello guys, Sorin here. Welcome to our first lecture from our course on how to create amazing webinars for free. That means absolutely for free, without paying for webinar platforms or other expensive stuff like that. Okay, so this is recommended for people who are just starting out, who practically don't want to invest so much money in the beginning in paying for a webinar platform, because the costs can be pretty big, but they want to start out, they want to test webinars, they want to see how it works, they want to hold webinars from time to time, okay, for their businesses, for personal branding or other stuff like educational purposes, sales pitches, and other stuff like that. Okay, so let's dive into the information. First of all, let's have a look at the price comparison for paid webinar platforms, because this is why I've practically discovered this method, or wanted to test this method to see if you can practically hold webinars for free, because the costs can be pretty big if you add month after month after month, and sometimes you don't even have webinars, okay, or you don't even record webinars, or you practically don't need that platform, but you still have to pay for it every single month. Okay, so here we have three of the biggest webinar platforms that are out there, that are paid webinar platforms. Obviously, they have very good features. I highly recommend them to you if you use webinars already at a professional stage. Okay, if you practically are already earning a lot of money out of this, so yeah, in that case you should probably use one of these platforms. But if you are just starting out, you probably want to save your money, okay, to bootstrap, and you want to invest your money in the thing that brings the most value to your business. So here is a price comparison. First of all, we have AnyMeeting, which is a pretty huge webinar platform. It's pretty good. I actually used AnyMeeting back a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, when it was still forever free. That's how they said back then, that it was still forever free, but in the meantime they turned it to paid. But no worries, if things work out for them, that's okay. So the price for AnyMeeting is starts from $78 per month for 200 attendees. You have registration forms, obviously, and you also have recording for your webinars. Then we have Click Webinar, which in my opinion has a better interface than AnyMeeting. Okay, it's more user-friendly, to say so. The price starts at $79 for 100 attendees, which is actually a better price than for most of the platforms, but it's like an average. It's worse than for AnyMeeting, as you can figure out. It has registration forms and landing pages, which is okay, reminders, which is okay, and also it records your webinar, which is okay, because in the future you may want to use your replay of the webinar. And then we have GoToWebinar, which is probably the most popular out of all of them, and it's one of the platforms that top internet marketers in the world are using right now. because it's the most efficient actually. Okay, it has been battle tested for a long time now, and that is why probably most of the people are using it, because it has the fewest errors, it works the best most of the times, it has the best reminder system and a lot of other features. It's priced also at $79 for 108 NDs. You have registration forms, you have reminders, which is very, very important. So people that have probably want to promote your webinar maybe 1 or 2 weeks ahead, and people that sign up in the first few days, they even forget till the day the webinar is held, so they need to get email reminders from the platforms, so they don't forget about the webinar. They are in constant contact with you all the time, okay, and they get reminded to enter on the webinar by the date the webinar will actually start and will be held, okay. So it has registration forms, it has the reminders, and it also has a recording of your webinar. For more information about other platforms and a more complex comparison of all these paid platforms, you can enter on this website that you have right here, okay, and you will see more platforms, you will see other details related to them, and a more complex comparison. Now I wanted to show you also that there are other possibilities too. For paid platforms, you have one-time payment. That means you only pay once when you access the service, and then you can use it forever. And you have yearly options, so platforms when you pay an yearly fee. And obviously, from a financial standpoint, if you take a whole year, these platforms are more advantageous, obviously, okay, and they have more benefits. So first of all, we have Webinar Jam, which is actually developed by two very, very big internet marketers, very big names in the internet marketing industry. Okay, one of them is Andy Jenkins. Probably some of you guys heard about him. The price for this platform is $397 per year. That means $400 per year. It has a very cool registration forms and landing pages and other stuff like that, reminders. So it's much more complicated and oriented towards marketing than the other type of platforms that are out there. Okay, like GoToWebinar, who is very, very popular, doesn't have the type of landing pages or registration forms that Webinar Jam has. Okay, it has promotional apps integrated with it. For example, if you hold a sales pitch through a webinar, you can have you can add scarcity at the end, okay, with a limited time offer and payment buttons and special offers and other stuff like that, okay. And it also has recording. Then you have Webinar Ignition, on the other hand, for which you pay $99 one-time fee, and you have like 3 or 4 different versions. It's based on Google Hangouts, and you will see that actually about Google Hangouts we will talk more in this course. It has a registration, it has recording too, it has awesome landing pages too. It also has some promotional apps integrated, because it's also more oriented towards marketing purposes. Now we have the free alternative. Actually, this is the thing that we will use to create our practically our free webinar page, okay, or free webinar platform, to say so. Okay, we have Google Hangouts. Now, what is Google Hangouts? Google Hangouts is Google's platform for live video streaming, meetings, for example, video calls or one-to-one meetings, and web conferences, maybe inside a company, inside of a team, okay, from people between people from different countries. Okay, it's actually a very, very popular service of Google, but a lot of people don't utilize it or don't know about it or underutilize it. Okay, but this is the thing that we will use for our own webinar platform, to say so. Okay, and it's actually pretty cool. Now, obviously, it has advantages and it has disadvantages. The main advantage is that it's free for us. Okay. Also, it's live streamed on YouTube, which can be a huge advantage. It's practically like having your own TV show. So your webinar will actually be also like a TV show. It's recorded. Why? Because YouTube records automatically your live streaming. Okay, and it will practically it will remain there on YouTube till you want to get it off. Okay, so it will remain there forever if you want to. Okay, and you can get like organic traffic from YouTube and Google and other things like that. So it has some benefits. And probably another very big advantage is the fact that you can have unlimited attendees or viewers. So you are not limited, for example, like to go to webinar to 1000 attendees. Okay, you can have 5000 if you want to. You can have even 10,000 viewers in the same time, some of them actually watching your Google Hangout in the Google Hangouts app, some of them watching you on YouTube. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Now obviously there are some disadvantages. You have like no registration forms, so you have to set up all the registration stuff by your own. Okay, you have to set up your emails, you have to send the reminders to people, you have to set up a landing page and other things like that. You need a Google account to participate in the actual Hangout conference. So obviously you, as the creator of the webinar, will have a Google account. You will create the Google Hangout, okay, using the Hangouts app. But for other people, in order to jump in on the app with you, okay, maybe like a co-presenter, a co-host, or other people that can enter the live question and answer session in the actual Hangout, they need also to be inside their Google account, okay, and to enter in the Hangout, which is a little bit messy. It gives you delays, okay, sometimes it has errors, so that can be a disadvantage. Also, another disadvantage is that it has some small delays, a couple of seconds to up to 10 seconds. So from the moment you speak to your audience, okay, or you are showing them a slide, they will see it delayed with approximately 10 seconds. Okay, so you have a small delay, which also can be a small disadvantage, let's say. But on the other hand, it's free. You can have unlimited number of viewers, so it has a lot of big advantages, and it's a very good tool to start with. Now, thank you guys very much for your attention. In our next video, we will dive into more details about how to use this in our advantage and to create like our own webinar page or webinar small platform, to say so. Okay, obviously all for free. Thank you guys very much for your attention. Sorin here. I will see you in our next video. Bye. Hello guys, Sorin here. Welcome to our next video from our course on how to create webinars. Now, in this short lecture, I want to talk to you about something that is very important in my opinion, and that is why should you use webinars for your business. First of all, you need to have the why, as you probably already know. Okay, so let's dive into the actual information. I will reveal to you in this lecture 4 main reasons. These are 4 main reasons, in my opinion, of why you should use webinars into your business. First of all, webinars help you build a stronger and more natural relationship with your audience. Now, why am I telling you this? Just think about it. We already use different types of online marketing channels, online marketing tools. Okay, we send out emails, we create videos, we record podcasts. Okay, we share posts, and we post on Facebook and on different social media platforms. But very rarely our audience actually has the occasion to interact in a live in a live and real time with us. Okay, webinars give them the chance to get to know the real us, okay, and build a stronger relationship with us, because they practically give them the occasion, the rare opportunity to interact with us in a real time. Okay, now the second reason would be that webinars help you build credibility and authority. And why am I telling you this? Okay, there are a lot of people out there that are in your target audience that don't know who you are. Okay, they don't know your expertise, they don't know your achievements in your field of expertise, and so on. Okay, and practically into a live webinar, you can deliver value to your target audience. Okay, you can deliver important knowledge that would help them in the field or niche that you activate in, and thus it will build credibility and authority in front of them. They will get to know what are your achievements. Okay, they will see actually what value can you deliver to them, and that's how you build credibility and authority. Okay, and practically this will translate future on into making more sales. Okay, having a higher conversion rate. Reason number 3 is the fact that they are great for education and training. Okay, there are a lot of companies out there, and there are a lot of marketers that are using webinars just to offer value to their community and to educate and train their community in a certain direction. Obviously, you probably already know that this is one of the biggest trends, not in the world, okay, or on the internet right now, but also in marketing and sales, to educate and train your audience, okay? Through education and training, ultimately you will get more sales. So webinars are great for doing this because they are like a live classroom, okay? People can practically get questions to you in a real time, and they can get the answers back in real time as well. So this will translate for them in a higher qualitative learning experience. Now, the fourth reason, and probably the most important, don't tickle right now, okay? So is the fact that you have a high conversion rate. We are all here for business people, okay? And business translates in sales and profits. The results in business are practically more sales and more profits, okay? And webinars are proven to have high conversion rates. For example, which marketing tool you know right now that can bring you sales for high ticket offers or products that are priced at $2,000 or $5,000, okay? There are very few marketing tools that can help you do that, and webinars are one of these marketing tools. Now, let me give you an example. I have a friend that activates in the internet marketing industries, and very recently he had a launch, okay, of a digital product. And after this launch, for the buyers of the product, he created a special webinars in which he promoted the coaching program for some affiliate marketers, and the coaching program was priced at $2,000. There were around 80 people in that live webinar, and guess what? At the end of the webinar, they made $20,000 in sale. Okay, so they sold somewhere at somewhere at 10 products. Okay, because they made somewhere around 20,000 in sales. So they sold they sold practically to 10 people, 10 coaching programs priced at $2,000. Okay, that's a very, very high conversion rate if you think about it. It's more than 10%. Okay, and for a very, very high priced product. Practically, there aren't a lot of tools that give you the possibility to do that, to sell this type of high ticket products, okay, to an audience and people to actually buy from you this type of high ticket products. So webinars are great at doing this. Now, guys, these are the four main reasons why I think webinars are great for business. Okay, the four main reasons why I think you should use webinars into your business. Of course, there are many others, but these one are the main four for me. Now, thank you very much, guys, for your attention, and I will see you in our next video. Hello, guys, Sorin here. Welcome to our next video from our course on how to create amazing webinars. Okay, in this short video, I want to give you guys 7 tips for creating high-quality webinars. These are things that you can apply in order to have a better quality for your webinar, okay, a better engagement, a better engagement with your audience, okay, a higher impact for your message to your audience, a better sales pitch if you are having a sales pitch for your webinar. So these are things that are applicable in general for your webinars in order for them to be to have a bigger quality, a higher quality, okay. So let's dive into these actual 7 tips that I've written here for you, so you can apply them for your webinars. The first one would be to keep your audience interested in and interact with your following before the webinar. What does that mean? Well, if you probably have if you are holding a webinar, obviously you already have an audience, okay, or a following, or you are building one. So there are different methods to do that, okay. Maybe you are having an email list, okay, of your customers, of your audience. Maybe you have a big social following on Facebook or YouTube, okay, or Instagram, or whatever other type of platform you are using. You want exactly before the webinar, you want to interact with them, okay, to remember them things that they will learn in the webinar, to remember them about the webinar, okay, to practically throw them some golden nuggets out of your webinar, things that they will learn there. For example, if you have a big social following on Facebook, you have a very popular Facebook page, it would be a good idea maybe to write them an article, okay, or a post about something that is related to your webinar, okay, and interact with them. And with a couple of days before the webinar, start to start to remind them that you will have a webinar. Okay, so this is an example, but for example, if you are on YouTube and have a social following on YouTube, you can create videos about things that they will learn in the webinar. Okay, some very even more unspecific tips about what they will learn there than the things that they will learn in the webinar. Okay, then the second tip would be to prepare an awesome presentation. You can use for that PowerPoint, or you can use even Prezi.com. If you probably have used Prezi.com before, you saw there that they have some amazing templates. Okay, some very nice and cool stuff that you can do with Prezi, but you can also do them with PowerPoint. Whichever you choose, you can practically create an amazing job, an amazing presentation. The idea is to practically use the same colors in your presentation, okay, to make them interactive. Obviously, the reason for which you can you can choose between Prezi or PowerPoint is the fact that you will do share screening, okay, when you will have your webinar. So either if you use PowerPoint or Prezi, you can use the share screen function, so you can even tell them, you can show them a presentation in PDF if you want to, but it's not the case. Okay, so it's very important the presentation to have different types of media, okay, images, animations, okay, to have the same colors everywhere, okay, to give them a sense of unity, okay, and to be like a easy walkthrough. Okay, so that's a very good idea. Okay, and make it interactive. Now, the third tip would be to have an awesome host or speaker on your webinar. So if you are not the host of the webinar, or maybe you are just the host of the webinar or the speaker, you should try to use for your webinar someone that it's interactive, okay, that engages with people, that it's likable, because otherwise people will get off your webinar or will fall asleep, and you don't want that to happen. Okay, so you need to have an awesome host or speaker on board. You can invite somebody that is an expert in your field. You can have somebody like a co-speaker or a co-host. Okay, you can think about a couple of solutions like that. Okay, the fourth tip would be to use different types of media. So don't settle just for images, okay, or just for text. Use video, use slides, use screen sharing, in the idea that you are practically showing some practical steps to your audience. Okay, maybe you want to show them how to create a Facebook ad campaign or something like that. Okay, you practically do that live. Okay, you enter on your Facebook page, you set up a Facebook campaign and things like that. You need to use different types of media to make it more interactive and engaging for people. Okay, now the fifth tip would be to perform good sound and video checks before the webinar. So just before starting the webinar, you need to be sure that the sound quality is very good. Okay, you don't have any interruptions, and also that video is streamed well. Okay, so you won't have any problems, because if you will have problems when you want to start the webinar, you will lose a lot of your audience that will get off the webinar. Okay, so you need to be prepared. Okay, good preparation makes it even a better webinar. Okay, the sixth tip would be to find a good quiet spot from which you have the webinar. For example, a very good room where you can talk to, where nobody will disturb you. Okay, that would be a very good idea. Somewhere where the sound it doesn't have echo or things like that. Okay, but the most important thing is not for other people to interrupt you or to disturb you, or someone to pass behind your back and his phone to start ringing. Okay, things like that. So you need to find a good quiet spot. Now, the seventh tip that I would give you, and this is not something that has necessarily anything to do with the quality of the webinar, but more with what you can do with the webinar after you finish it, is to record your webinar. Why? Because after you have maybe your first webinar, either if it will be very good or very bad, you can watch it again, analyze it, know where you can make improvements. And if it's a very good webinar, maybe it's a sales webinar and it has a high conversion rate, if you have recorded it, you can reuse it. Okay, the replay, you can practically have a webinar on autopilot, okay, on the replay. So it's very good to have a recorded webinar. Now, this would be all the tips that I would give to you today in this video. Guys, I thank you very much for your attention. I am sure that if you apply them, you will have a more qualitative webinar and a more high converting webinar. Thank you again for your attention. Sorin here. Till next time, bye bye and good luck. Hello guys, Sorin here. Welcome back to our next video and next lecture from this series regarding on how to create webinars and how to use them in your business. Now I want to talk to you about how to prepare your audience for a webinar. This is a very important part in having a successful and running a successful webinar, the part of preparation. Okay, now let's dive into the actual principles that you need to follow in order to conduct a very good preparation for your webinar, and in order for you to be sure that you have a high appearance of the registrants in the actual webinar. Okay, now first of all, if you use a paid platform like GoToWebinar or Webinar Jam, you already have things set up so that you are sure that a lot of the number that will register for the webinar will actually show up at the webinar. Okay, a lot of the people that are actually registering, for example, you have a webinar next week and people register today, you will have things set up. Okay, so they will get reminders and everything, and you will have a high percentage of the people that were registered actually appearing in the webinar. Now the second thing is that if you do not have a paid platform, and we will practically talk in this course and in this series about how to create your own free webinar page, so you won't use a paid platform like GoToWebinar or Webinar Jam. If this happens, okay, you need to have a landing page or a registration form. You need to have these things set up where people can register for the webinar. After that, you need to have built an email sequence that is sent to people who registered, so they are all the time reminded of your webinar. Because if you are promoting a webinar, okay, maybe you promote it like 5 days ahead, and you need to remind people that registered in the first day, in the second day, in the third day, okay, that they will participate at a webinar on a certain date. Okay, they need to be remembered because people are all the time busy and they will forget. I can assure you of that. Okay, now in your email reminders, so you need to set up a sequence of emails that you will send to these people that registered for your webinar. In these email reminders, in this sequence, you need to include different benefits of the webinar. So you need to build anticipation for the webinar. You can give out some tips if you can regarding the subject that you will approach in the webinar. This will not just practically remind them of the webinar and why they should participate to the webinar, so they will practically build anticipation, but they will also help you build credibility and authority just actually before starting the webinar, okay, which is actually pretty cool. Okay, then the next thing that you should do is it would be recommended not to promote your webinar with more than 7 to 10 days ahead, as you will lose a large part of the early registrants. Just think about it, you being in the shoes, okay, of someone that registered for a webinar that will be after 2 weeks. You will probably forget 2 weeks from now that you registered for a webinar, or other things appear, okay, in your life, and you will not be able to participate. And that happens for most of the people. So if you have a large time frame, okay, in which you promote the webinar, you lose a large part of your audience, because that's how life is. Okay, things get busy. In the day of the webinar, you should have at least 2 or 3 email reminders sent to the registrants for the webinar. And the last one should be when the webinar actually starts. Okay, that way practically it's like a last call, okay, a last attempt from you to remind everybody that the webinar will start that day, okay, that they should not make any program and that they should be on that call. And for example, a very nice technique that a lot of marketers are using is to offer to people that are staying from the beginning till the end of the webinar a big bonus at the end, maybe something that they can download, okay, a mind map or something like that. You can think about something like that to create for your audience. Now, if you have a big social following, be sure to post on your pages and profiles reminders for people to participate to the webinar. Again, tips that are practically are somehow regarding the subject that you will approach in the webinar, okay, why they should participate to the webinars and other things like that, so you can increase your attendees rate. Now, an optional thing that you can do, and some of the people that are conducting webinars on the web right now are doing, and practically a lot of them are doing this successfully, is that they use retargeting, for example on Facebook, but you can use retargeting also on Google and other ad platforms. But they are using retargeting on Facebook to remind their registrants to participate to the webinar. And this is something that you can do optional, because you already remind them through the email sequence that you have created. But an example of how you can do that is that, for example, with 2 days before the actual webinar, you can start promoting an ad to the people that registered for the webinar, in which you remind them to participate at the webinar. Hey, tomorrow we have the webinar, don't forget to be there on time, I have a big surprise for you, or something like that. Okay, so these are things that you need to do in order for your webinar to have a high attendee rate, because this is this part of preparation is very, very important. I didn't told you before, but the average rate that, for example, the ClickMeeting platform has seen for people that are using their platform to create webinars is about 27-28 people per webinar. Most successful webinars have somewhere at 300, 400, 500 people on in the same time, and some of the best in the world go up to 1,000 people in the same time. Okay, if you go up from there, from 1,000, you are actually a very, very good marketer, okay, and someone who's probably very, very famous and conducting a webinar, and you are actually doing like more like a TV show or live streaming than a webinar if you go past this number, okay, more than 1,000 people. But the average rate is somewhere at 27-28 people. Obviously, ideal for you is to have probably somewhere between 80 and 100 people, because you can interact more with them, okay, you can talk more with them. If you have more than that, very likely you won't be able to interact as you would like with them. So these were all my recommendations of how to prepare for a webinar. I think these things will help you to have a high attendance rate to your webinar, and to practically build just before starting the webinar your credibility and authority in front of your audience. Now guys, thank you very much for your attention. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you in our next videos. Bye bye for now. Good luck to you. Sorry.